May I introduce myself that I'm Magama Masita, the coordinator of the SMME Support Network in Lesotho, and I'll be chairing and moderating this session. And I would like to say good morning to all and welcome to the TFSA webinar on covering online digital exporter training and leveraging digital tools for export. We will just give a few minutes one more time to make sure that a lot more people are joining in. As I have said, I'm Magama Masita, coordinator at the SMME Support Network Lesotho, and we have a few housekeeping announcements before we can start. I think we are all aware that the session is being recorded, and also that for the people who do not speak English, especially from Mozambique, you will find an icon at the bottom, right bottom of the computer display that will give you the interpretation option. One more, we should switch off our microphones and videos for those who can, and particularly the microphones have to be muted. I think a lot of disruption is made with the videos on, so if we could put them off and then probably switch them back on when we speak, if you want your face to be seen. Thank you very much. There will not be questions while presentations are being made. There is a question and answer section there at the bottom. Yes, you can see it. We can put all the questions there, and they will be dealt with before we leave. And last but not least, as after the session ended, there will be a survey that we'll all fill. And please do honor us by filling that survey for our improvement. Thank you very much. But for today, we will have a very interesting lineup. We have Rose Blatch, the Executive Director, and Coban Thompson, TBD of ITRISA, the International Trade Institute of Southern Africa, with whom TFSA has developed the TFSA School of Export Digital Online Exporter Training, and he will highlight the value of the training for exporters. Then we'll have Tali Naibryf from JABU, and she will give a presentation on the JABU distribution model they offer and are building in the region, which could be of advantage for our producers who are seeking to expand sales into the often underserved niche market in Namibia, South Africa, and soon Botswana and Eswatini. JABU is Southern African fastest growing e-commerce for small retailers seeking stock, and is powering the way shop owners order, source, and stock their products, and building an ecosystem of data that powers the way we think about supply channels. In remaining minutes, then Robert Moody of TFSA will focus on the digital export knowledge guidelines and other key tools on the TFSA hub. As I have said, that we will be dealing with the digital tools that help the small exporters, especially women, who are trying to promote. I think in Lesotho, what we know is that a lot of exporters do not know where to find information on buyers. They do not even know where they can find information on how to source materials that will adhere to the standards that are required. We do not have information hub that really speaks to the SMEs in Lesotho. And not only that, we have SMEs that are challenged by technology. So I think if we stick with TFSA for mostly the BSOs, will be equipped with all this equipment, their techniques and equipment to disseminate to our when, and what. And then SMME Support Network is pleased to be a key knowledge center for the TFSA program in Lesotho, alongside nearly 30 other organizations spread across Southern Africa. TFSA aims to support exporters to overcome the information, knowledge, and skills access barrier by providing a platform that houses up-to-date and relevant export training, knowledge, and information in one place. That is the TFSA Trade and Information Hub, and knowledge via this webinars, will be very useful to navigate the resources and gain expert training and knowledge, as well as practical information on potential markets and the buyers that are there that needs your products products, along with the rules and regulations, as well as standards to be complied with in the target markets. Today's session will focus on using the newly created free to access and use online digital exporter training modules of the TFSA School of Export, as well as the digital tools and knowledge resources provided by TFSA on the TFSA Trade and Information Hub. You will also be introduced to JABU, an innovative distribution model being expanded from its Namibian home to other regional countries. I'm sure you will recognize the enormous value of training, tools, and facilities shown in the webinar for exporters and business support associations. At this stage, not to take much time, I will hand over to Rose Blatch, the Executive Director, and Coban Thompson of ITRISA to present on using the TFSA Hub School of Export. Over to you, Rose and Coban. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, my task here today is to tell you a little bit about ITRISA, the International Trade Institute of Southern Africa, because we are the people behind the development of the training modules. So I think it might be useful to know who we are, in case you don't already know. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the organization. Just going to share my screen. Right, well, the starting point is that we are a non-profit company. We were founded in 1996 with the intention of focusing completely on international trade development. So our key focus is really training and education. We separate the two because we refer to training as short course contact training or online training with a facilitator. And our education program is qualifications based. It takes some time to complete, and it's distance learning. And then we have a consultancy section where we assist companies with specific problems. And that's probably one of the most interesting areas, because we draw from there in order to create the case studies that we use in our training programs. We have quite a wide reach. We have students that are throughout SECU and Mozambique, also from places like Kenya, Zimbabwe, Zambia, etc. And we have a broad cross-section of clients. Our clients consist of government people at national, provincial, local level, including parastatals and statutory bodies like SARS and customs. And then, of course, our key market is the private sector, because we're dealing all the time with companies and their staff. We are accredited, we have to be, in order to provide qualifications in this country, South Africa. So we are accredited by the Council on Higher Education, also by the South African Financial Services Board, because we have a lot of students from the banks and the financial sector. And we have the international accreditation from the International Association of Trade training organizations. So if we look at the South African regulatory environment, sorry, Department of Higher Education and Training regulates higher education in South Africa, and I think most of the SACU countries follow the guidelines provided by the Department of Higher Education and Training here. They register private higher education institutions. So you can't actually operate as a provider of higher education unless you are registered with this body. Then we have the South African Qualifications Authority that registers programs on the National Qualifications Framework. And all higher education programs must comply with the Higher Education Qualifications Sub-Framework. And then finally, the Council on Higher Education, which promotes quality assurance for both the institution and program accreditation. From the international side, we're a member of the London-based International Association of Trade Training Organizations. We are the IATA agent for Southern Africa. All our qualifications programs are accredited by IATA. And the glory of this is that through our IATA, those that have our qualifications are able to access this World Trade Professional Business designation, which is global. So wherever you might go in terms of developing markets for the future business of your company, with these letters, WTP after your name on your business card, everybody you're dealing with knows that you're a professional at what you're doing. So what do? We do contact training, which I've already mentioned, but we also do it in company. And we also are involved in a lot of training projects for government entities. And then we have the distance education side, our qualifications programs. And we have two that we focus on, the Higher Certificate in International Trade, which is 1 year in duration, and the 3-year Diploma in International Trade Management. And examples of people that we've worked with is the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency, there's Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, and the Swiss Import Promotion Organization. We have the Nelson Mandela Bay Business Chamber and the Eastern Cape Development Corporation, the Department of Trade and Industry and DIRCO, the Department of Agriculture, and then lots of tailored programs for companies, for banks, for the post office, for Eskom, for Centec, for NAMBOARD. We've worked with BITC in Botswana as well. And we've done a lot of work with multinationals all around Africa. So we usually start off training their South African staff, and then we get moved to places like Kenya, etc. We have partnerships with various institutions. One of them is Northwest University. Another is the University of Cape Town, where we've done a whole lot of various activities for them, lecturing. We've looked at external examination of MBA theses. And we've been involved in the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, which is something that Cape Town University Business School deals with. And we've worked quite a lot with the South African Association of Freight Forwarders on a variety of different projects. One of the most interesting being the Young International Freight Forwarder of the Year Award. And South Africa has produced the winner, the global winner in this area more than twice. So we do quite well there. Thank you. I'm going to hand over now to Corbin, because he's going to tell you about two of our, well, in particular, the Trade Forward Southern Africa program that we've been developing with Trade Forward Southern Africa for the School of Export. And he will tell you how to access it and what it's all about and where we are today. Thank you, Corbin.
All right, perfect. So the TFSA School of Export. What is it and what does it actually provide you? Well, it really is a completely online platform that provides you the education that you need to access the international market confidently. We have online modules pertaining to export foundations, international finance, international marketing, and international transport, as well as customs affairs, etc. Now, the question you should be asking is, why is this training relevant? Why is it needed? And what is the actual use case for it? Well, I think we all understand that Africa does not need aid, it needs trade. But in order to achieve that, there is certain challenges that we need to overcome. Challenges, well, firstly, export is complex, it's ever changing. And as it's been mentioned earlier on in the webinar, the resources and information relevant to exporting from SACOM countries is fragmented, it's theory-based, and often outdated. This leads to time constraints because the scarcity of accessible practical learning interventions really confine you as a potential exporter or current exporter to really a trial and error business model. And what that means is it's costly. International trade, being misinformed in international trade is costly. Mistakes that could be made, and a misunderstanding in terms of exchange control regulations, a misunderstanding in terms of your certification that you need for your product. All of these have real financial implementations for your business. So really it's about how do we minimize that? How do we make approaching the international market more efficient? Well, we really think that knowledge is power, and an informed exporter is a competitive exporter. We want to minimize those mistakes. We want to provide you the information in a single resource that you need to approach that international market and that expansion confidently. Because really it does have a major impact on how competitive you are. If you do not understand what certain regulations or certain international conventions mean for you, then you're at a disadvantage to your competitor. A supplier that knows how to take advantage of the likes of trade agreements, etc., really is more competitive and able to approach it in a way that is successful. Now, we've taken a view of the entire SACOM. We want to make sure that the training that we provide through the TFSA School of Exports is really applicable to the whole of SACOM, including the growth of women in trade. There's a plethora of businesses within the SACOM region run by women that really have international potential, but the access to the knowledge and the resources they need is extremely limited. And what that does is it limits the economic growth of Southern Africa in general. A woman-owned business that's approaching the international market in a successful manner means more jobs locally. It means stronger living standards, etc. And really, that's all about ensuring benefit is delivered for all of SACOM. And that's why our training is also available in Portuguese with the Portuguese subtitles. And there is plans to roll it out in a more accessible way long term. Now, I've probably spoken a lot about what it is, but let's have a look at how you can actually access the platform and benefit immediately. Well, firstly, you can go to the TFSA website. You click on the TFSA School of Export icon right there at the top. You'll then be taken to the TFSA School of Export landing page. Now, if you're already signed up, you can simply sign in with your name and password or create an account. It's a really simple process to create your account. It's not intrusive in any way. Once you're in the actual LMS, you create your profile. Now, creating your profile doesn't mean giving your information away for us to move on to the next organization. It's really about creating a profile within the TFSA School of Exports and becoming a part of that community. We really use that information to tailor future learning interventions or future resources in general. Once you've created your profile, you'll then be accessing the TFSA School of Export dashboard, which is an holistic overview of the entire system. From there, you can navigate directly to the course library, and access individual modules. The beauty, I think, of the TFSA School of Export is that it's really set up to benefit you in terms of what you need at that point. You're not required to go through absolutely every module to access the next module. You can go into the system and access the module that's particular to you, whether it's international marketing, whether it's you're dealing with Incoterms for the first time, take the Incoterms module, etc. Once you're in the module, you'd be presented with video, motion picture graphic video with professional voiceover that is intended to educate you on the key concepts that we've mentioned. And you'd also have an interactive element whereby you answer multiple choice questions, true or false questions. And the intention behind all of that, it's not to test you, it's to reaffirm the information that we've conveyed in videos and ensure that you are confident in that particular topic. Once you've completed that, you've completed the module, and now you have the option to move on to the next one. And it's a constantly iterative process. Really what it's all about is the TFSA School of Export wants to ensure that we're providing the right information and making it accessible as possible. So we do invite thoughts, comments, and it comes back down to what I mentioned earlier, where once you've set up your profile within the TFSA School of Export, you're part of that community. And that community is built to try and increase trade from SACU-M. And I think together we can really do that. So your input is never disregarded. It's used to develop the next module, to develop the next intervention, to ensure that collectively we drive Southern Africa forward and achieve the utopia that we all know is possible. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Makama. You can take over. Thank you, Makama. You can take over.
Thank you, Kaba. Thank you. It is very insightful. And I think there's quite a lot of interest that has been aroused among the participants here, because we really, really need to get ourselves together and be equipped to help the MSMEs. At this stage, I would like to call upon Tali of JABU to make a presentation on the JABU model as a wholesale stockist distributor for regional producers. Over to you, Tali.
Great, thank you, Makama. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of JABU Logistics and share with you all some background and information on JABU's offering and how we can help you get your products on the shelves of hundreds of retailers in the region. So I'm proud to say that JABU is Southern Africa's fastest growing e-commerce for small retailers. And what that means is that we are solving for how shop owners are ordering, sourcing, and stocking their products. And while we do that, we're connecting your brands and your products with the largest network of shops in Southern Africa. So we're currently in Namibia. We have operations in Windhoek, which is where we kick things off. We're on the coast in Swakopmund and Walvis Bay. In the north in Oshakati and Ondangwa. We're launching in Rundu very shortly. We also have operations in Zambia, recently launched in South Africa, and have Botswana and Eswatini in the pipeline. So very exciting things to come and a lot of great opportunities for all of you. Before JABU, these smaller merchants or retailers would close down their shop every time they needed to buy stock. They would take a taxi or some sort of transport. They would pay for that transport, buy the stock, pay for transport back, and then unlock their shop so that they could sell their products. And that was very costly and time consuming. After JABU, what these small retailers and merchants are able to do is order from their phones. They can either text us, call us, use our app or our e-commerce site, place an order for stock, and we will deliver it the same day at no cost to them. So it's a great way for them to make sure that they never go out of stock. They always have their items and they can grow their business and not have to spend money on transport or even the lost earnings of having to close down their shop. When I say shops or merchants, I really mean the entire gamut, from small retailers, bakeries, restaurants, bars, to mini markets and street vendors. And many of these are actually also run by women. So there's a huge impact in supplying all of these merchants. So I told you a little bit about the merchants and what we're solving for there, but what I think is probably most exciting and relevant to all of you is our commitment to our brands and our partners. And for all of you, we're enabling your brands, producers, manufacturers, and institutions to really reach all of these retailers that we just described on the previous slide. And to do that, we're offering you that last mile of distribution, and we'll get into what that means. So we provide all of our brands and our partners with data-driven, technology-enabled last mile of distribution. And so that means that we take care of that entire process from receiving the stock to making deliveries, running promotions, dealing with all that customer service. So in essence, our functioning as an extension of your team to make sure that we're getting your products into the shops and shelves of these retailers. There are 4 buckets of offerings that we'll provide for our partners, and this is by no means it. There are a ton of different things that we can offer for our partners, and we do tailor them and customize them for your needs. But we'll talk about these 4 today, since I think they're the biggest buckets. The first is digital enablement, then we'll get into distribution, to our smart dashboard, and then our brand ambassador program. So we'll kick things off with the digital enablement and what that means. Essentially, once we have onboarded a partner, we will upload all of your products and your SKUs into our e-commerce site and onto our app. So we'll have pictures, descriptions of all of the products onto our app. And so what that means is that all of these shops and retailers will now have access to it at the touch of their fingers. They can see all of your products immediately in our digital platform. And what usually happens when they can see all their products is that they get very excited, they want to order, and they want to receive that stock. And so that's where the distribution comes in. JABU has a fleet of trucks that delivers daily to dedicated routes. So here's a glimpse of some of our trucks, and many brands or producers actually choose to book exclusive routes where the truck is only going on a route to deliver their products, and oftentimes co-brand our vehicles with their logo to, again, provide more advertising. You can imagine if a truck is driving through a town and there's a huge logo for your brand, that also creates more excitement and interest around your products. On this slide, you'll see a picture of one of our deliveries. So on the left, you'll see our JABU truck delivering to a shop. And this shop chose to get their store painted by JABU. And so we do offer that as well to our partners and our brands. If they're interested in co-branding or painting a shop, we're happy to also serve that and support you all. The smart dashboard is what I think is the most exciting and the most critical to growing your business. It allows you to analyze data in real time. So we'll give you access to information, and I'll actually demo it for you so you can see what that looks like that you didn't know before, and allows you to grow your business much faster in scale. So you'll be able to see the trucks, where they are at any given moment, the top performing products, which products are maybe not performing as well as you would like, how many new customers you've registered and have because of JABU. So all of these things will be included in that JABU dashboard, so you can really make more informed strategic decisions on your business. So I'll stop sharing my screen and share a different screen so you can see that dashboard. So you can see my screen now. You should be able to see our dashboard, this access to our partners and our brands that we support in the distribution of. You can always select a period, see the type of customer, whether it's a home shop, a market, a bar, the region, right, or the different branches that we operate in, and you would see information for your brand. So right now I selected a period in January, and you can see the sales, how many items were sold, how many customers you have, and deliveries that were made. But what I think is one of the most exciting metrics is if we scroll down here, you can see the number of orders placed at any given time on any day of the week. So you can see that on Monday at 2 in the morning, 37 orders were placed, which means to me that there were 37 shops that were planning for the weekend ordering their stock. Or on Saturday at midnight, 38 orders that were placed. Maybe a bar ran out of alcohol and needed to make more purchases. And so you see how easy, because it's digitally enabled, they can place orders at the comfort of their shop, of the comfort of their home at any time that they need. And on the right, you'll see the number of deliveries and at what times of the day they're being made. I'll also show you our map. The dashboard I'm in right now is exclusive to Namibia, but obviously we have one for Zambia, for South Africa, and for the other countries that we're expanding into. And here you can see our operations and where we are located. So if we go into Windhoek, you'll see that each of these blue dots is a store, a customer, a bar, a home shop that we are supplying stock to. And these aren't just one customer. We're not just getting the product to one person. These are points of distribution because these shops are also selling to their communities. So your products are not just getting into one point, but actually are being distributed further by those retailers. And that's our operations in Windhoek. You can see if we scroll all the way to the left to see the coast, you'll see the points of distribution in Swakopmund, as well as Walvis Bay. And we can also scroll to the top and see the north in Oshakati and Ndangwa. And this is all accessible to our branded partners to be able to see where their products are in real time, what their sales are, all of those really exciting metrics that help you make more informed business decisions and know how your business is performing. I'll go back to share the PowerPoint so we can wrap up on the brand ambassadors. We understand that many growing businesses might not have a sales team or at least a full sales team to go out and market and promote their products. So we offer a brand ambassador program where we allocate exclusively brand ambassadors to your brand to go to the shops and push sales of your products. And so they'll go to the shop. They can also conduct merchandising tasks. You want to understand how your product is positioned relative to other products, how the prices compare, etc. So our brand ambassadors are going and doing that on behalf of your brand. And you don't just have to take our word for it. Every time they go to a shop or a market or a retailer, they geolocate. So we know a point on the map where they located. They'll take a photo of the shop and I'll also provide whatever survey or information that you have requested from the brand ambassadors. And you can track all of that real time in the brand dashboard that I've just walked through. I also wanted to share with you all our JABU Zone. This is our newspaper that we recently launched in April of 22. Has articles on how to improve your business, recipes, hairstyles, anything it's trending in the month. And so we'll include all of that into our JABU Zone, as well as opportunities to advertise, promote, and inform the public about your brand. So we have many brands that are running promotions, and we include those promotions into our newspaper or even just their logo and advertising to help promote their products. And if you're interested in getting involved in our JABU Zone, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm going to give you my contact information, and we're happy to take that conversation offline and continue on that. Hopefully what you're all thinking is, well, this all sounds great. How do I become a JABU partner? And so this is a little bit about the process that we have in place. There's an application where you tell us about your business, the products that you sell, where you want to distribute, and we review that application and get in touch with you on next steps and how do we move forward. The next step is registration. We'll complete a JABU partner profile. We'll create an account for you so that we can have you in our system. And then we'll begin that onboarding. And that's that digital enablement, uploading your products, your SKUs, the photos, so that all of our customers have access to that information. And then it's pretty simple from there. We go live, you watch your products grow and your sales increase. You also can book marketing campaigns, the brand ambassadors, exclusive routes, all of those pieces that we just talked about. And really grow your business. And so with that, I will hand it back to Makama. You can scan the QR code to see our website. It's gojabu.com. I've also included my email address in case any of you want to set up additional time to discuss the potential of working together. But with that, thank you all so much for the time. Back to you, Makama.
Thank you very much, Tali. This seems to be a magic train that the MSMEs need, because obviously it's solving the problem of, them doing this themselves and saving them time, saving them cost, and making sure that they have a trustworthy middle person. That's very, 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 very creative. And I'm wondering why you're not even starting to think about Lesotho, because that's what we need. But it depends on whether you'll get the right entrepreneurs. We had said that in the remaining time, Robert Moody will be giving us some session or introducing some tools, digital tools. So this is the time that he has to give us the digital knowledge guides and the key expert tools that the TFSA Hub has. Over to you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Makama. I'm going to share my screen as well. Give me a second, and I trust that is sharing all right, and share sound.
Just hold on a sec. Maybe again, I have to emphasize to the participants that if you have any questions, there is an icon on Q&A at the bottom. So please do post your question there that we'll read later, and then it will be answered before we leave. Nameka Karabo Mariti, you have raised your hand, but I think you should use the question and answer section there. Thank you.
Super.
Over to you.
Thank you, Makama. You know, the series of webinars that we've been doing is focused on digital tools for export trade. And, you know, very pleased that we were able to get ITRISA on today to explain the Digital School of Export, because everything we're doing is to provide exporters the tools, the knowledge, and the skills to overcome so many of the barriers that they face in export. And the first barrier that generally is faced is indeed where to even access information, where to access the knowledge, and where to access training. And all of this, of course, is provided free of charge. It's free for everybody to access and use without any cost, because it is funded by the British government at this stage of the game. And also very pleased to have Tali from JABU come and show us today this really excellent platform and business model that they've developed. And the reason we wanted to, you know, particularly bring her in today is because so often we think in terms of export, we think in terms of the European markets or Asian markets or American markets, particularly, you know, the United States. We're funded by the British, so people think we're pushing trade towards the UK to, you know, secure supply chains for the United Kingdom. That is not the case. And we often overlook the fact that for a Namibian company to export to Zambia, for a Botswanan company to export to Namibia, that is perhaps the easiest reach for small and mid-sized companies in our region. It can vary. Sometimes it is easier to access an international market, or it might be more lucrative. But the truth is, very often, the best profits are made in Africa for a number of different reasons. So the JABU model offers companies in the region the opportunity to get their product distributed within other countries in the region. And JABU doesn't deal with the crossing the border issues at the moment. So everybody does need to deal with that themselves still, but they are a significant growing platform that can be used to reach a lot of markets that most major retailers and distributors can't actually reach. And there's perhaps actually a better and more lucrative, more profit-worthy market for small and medium companies in the region. So encourage you to reach out to them. We can connect you as well. At the moment, as Tali was saying, they're set up in Namibia. So anybody wanting to export into Namibia, they could be a very good distribution platform for you. And you've seen how effective and efficient it is to be able to track orders and deliveries and so on. And of course, they're opening up in South Africa, which will be a significant market. And that would be a very good avenue for anybody else in the region looking to enter the South African market. And when they open up in Botswana and Eswatini, that just offers you that extra reach as well. And who knows, if we can help and encourage people to use their platform, maybe they'll open up in Lesotho and Mozambique somewhere along the line as well. So look, I'm just going to reuse the remaining time. I think people who've been in our webinars before are probably very tired of me doing the demonstration on the various tools. So I'll just quickly flash them up and then move over to the main element of what I wanted to show everybody today about new resources that have been built into the the TFSA Trade and Information Hub. As Corbin was saying, the first thing is if you go to the hub, they click on that link, that'll take you to the School of Export for the export of trading. It's digital, it's online, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year at no cost to you. And as Rose was saying, with the backing of ITRISA and the collaboration with ITRISA building these modules, this is benchmark best of the best, quick, online, easy to access, and free to use exporter training. On the hub, you also know that we've got these other tools, export readiness, to identify markets. So I'm not going to go through them in detail, but you'll see if you register with the ITC, you can use these tools to identify markets from Southern Africa or a particular country. You just change the country there to a particular country, change it for your particular product, and it'll bring up for you what are the most lucrative or the markets with the greatest export potential for you around the world. And just for this one, guavas, mangosteens, and mangoes and so on, just a random thing for any exporter in the region, across the region, Germany, Netherlands, Botswana, and so on. And if you go to them, it'll actually tell you the monetary value of the untapped export potential that could be still reached in any of these countries if an exporter was to target them. The hub also provides you on the trading prices page. You click on the links and you can come through to the trade map, and you again put in your product, put in the country that you're importing, that you're targeting for your export. In this case, I've just used with the mangoes and guavas again, somebody wanting to export into Botswana because the tool said that there's a good market there, and it'll bring up who are the competitor suppliers. And you'll see this column here actually even will tell you what the unit value is per unit of that product that is being exported into Botswana. So you can see there from South Africa, the competitive or the pricing as it crosses the border is about $1,000 per ton. And that gives you a good indication. You can again change that if you wanted to change it to Germany. If you happen to be targeting the German market, and it will bring it up for you there. If I can just find Germany, and it will bring up the same kind of thing, giving you the competitors that you'll be facing in the market in Germany, and actually giving you information about what the price per unit, in this case it's dollars per ton, of the product is when it's imported into Germany. So you can work out your pricing and see whether you're reasonably price competitive. And the tool will even give you contact details of companies that you could contact. This is again just Botswana. And if you click on that, there are gaps and hiccups every now and again, but you can use that to identify buyers in a particular country. There are also tools there where you can put in the product from if you're targeting the EU market, there's a tool, My Access to Markets. You put in your product, the country you're exporting from, country you're exporting to, and it'll bring up what the customs duties are. You can see SADC EPA, that's the same as the UK EPA for exporting to the UK, and it'll tell you what the customs duties are, all the rules and regulations that you have to go through. It'll give you the taxes, VAT, import requirements, and so on that have to be complied with. And as I've said before, we have the same kind of facility targeting specifically the United Kingdom, and it'll tell you what the trade status is, what the customs duties are, the taxes, other measures that are involved, covering the rules of origin. Is the product eligible for the reduced rate coming from Namibia, what the rules of origin are, and then particularly all the various regulations that have to be complied with, for in this case, the contaminants of foodstuffs, so there's labeling and stuff like that. So those tools are there. There's on the page, the hub, there's information about the various sectors that focus. And if you clicked on any one of these, there's very interesting and valuable information and up-to-date current news and so on. There's a section on women in trade. Again, you will find information, interesting articles, pieces of information that are valuable to women. And just for interest, we'll be doing another 2 webinars probably with Small Enterprise Development Agency in South Africa in collaboration with them and the International Trade Center, their She Trades facility. We'll be doing probably 2 webinars, one at the end of this month and one in August again. She Trades is focused specifically on women, and I think there are now 2 million women around the world registered in the She Trades platform of the International Trade Center. They've opened up a chapter in South Africa with CEDA, and I believe they're looking to open up in other countries across the region. So again, look out for the invitation for that, those webinars, and join us for those. On the news, the latest news and digest, there's information on the link on the home page. Lots of information there about current events, current developments, and so on. And you can also subscribe there to the TFSA digest that regularly pushes out news and information, and catch up links to webinars if anybody's missed them. Now, the particular focus I wanted to go in today is these new tools that have been developed and embedded into the hub. I believe we have Eckhart Neumann on the webinar today as well. He collaborated us, or I won't say collaborated, he developed a lot of these export guides. I'll show you them now shortly. But just as you land on this export tools page, there are 2 quick videos there. I just played a quick sampling of it.
And agents.
It's got Portuguese subtitles.
Map out who is already in the market. This guide focuses on the first C, the internal systems analysis of your business, because the first and most crucial step to exporting is understanding if your business is ready to export. Trying to expand to new markets before you're ready could end up hurting your business.
I won't play the whole of it, it's just to give you a sampling. And then the first one focuses on getting your internal structures right in your company to become export ready. We talk sometimes of the 6 C's of exporting. The first one is getting your company right. And then it moves on to the external environment.
Our first guide
analysis.
covered the internal analysis we recommend businesses go through before diving into new markets. In this episode, Market Research Made Simple, we turn our attention to the external environment, and we'll talk you through the next steps to help you flesh out your company's export plan.
Yeah, and I'm not going to play the whole thing there. They're available on the hub. You're welcome to go there. The 2 link together. There's a link below there to a series of guides at the International Trade Center, video guides on how to use the various tools that are available, that I mentioned before, that we repeat over again, of how valuable they are. Those guides are available through this link. And I think I just did bring them up very quickly here. Yes, you'll see that they're on YouTube as well. There's a whole series of them on how to use those ITC tools to identify markets, check price competitiveness, identify buyers, and even to use the Global Trade Help Desk that can help you identify best markets, see what the market trends are, and also rules and regulations that are applicable in particular markets. So there's also a link to a company profile and pitch, and there's frequently asked questions. There's a whole series of frequently asked questions. You click on any of these, they open up. That will help you a lot about the UK EPA with the region, as well as other issues in global trade. And wait, sorry, I've got overlaying. There's a company and profile pitch document. This is a very, very simple thing. You can fill it in. We're busy just adjusting it at the moment. It will generate a short PDF document for you. This helps you focus on the key things for your business to generate what we call an elevator pitch, because sometimes you get an opportunity to meet with a buyer. And if you've dealt with buyers before, you know, anybody who's dealt with buyers know that they're tougher to deal with, and they can be harsher on one than even the devil would be. So you have to have your story right. You get a very short time with them sometimes, and you have to get it absolutely right. If you fill this in, it will actually generate, it won't do it at the moment, but you could use this to generate a quick, almost just 1-pager elevator pitch of what your company is and what your export plans are. I'm a firm believer that a 500-page business plan is far less value than a 1-page business plan. Everything that you've got on 1 page, you can keep your targets in mind, and you keep your message straight. So this is intended just to be a quick tool to help you generate your minimal export plan of what you're targeting, where you're likely to target it, what the unique selling points are that you can put to a buyer about your company and your product. That's available there on the export tools page as well. And then these guides are available now as well. We started building them last year with Eckhard Neumann, and I think he's on the webinar today. So again, thank you, Eckhard. These are some of these are really excellent, quick guides to some of the key things that that commonly come up with exporters in your process of trying to identify markets and so on. And I've got some of them up there. You can see if you click on any one of them, it will bring up this knowledge guides. There's a quick introduction to them, and you can either read them on your screen or you can download them for printing. You'll see that they're exceptionally concise, to the point, valuable information. And they've been set out in a way that is very easy to understand and easy to read. It will give you links also at the bottom to various or in various barcodes. I mean, this one is specifically on barcodes. It explains barcodes, but in the others you will also find, as you click on them, they will come up. Let me find one. There's a series of them on registering as an exporter in each of the countries, and I'll just use another one, an example. This complements some of the training that is happening in the School of Export. These knowledge guides and these videos, you do not have to register anywhere for them. These you can access directly off the Trade and Information Hub. But if you're looking for even deeper training, go to the School of Export for that. There's a series here complementing the training on Incoterms, what Incoterms are overall. And then we identified some of the most commonly used ones, and there's a quick guide to each of the more commonly used ones. It's just coming up quickly, and you'll see it pulls up the quick overview of what it's about. The knowledge guide is there again. You can download it, you can print it. It's done graphically, pictorially, so that it's not word heavy, that everybody can understand them very quickly and easily. And I'll bring up another one of them. There are even links. I think we'll use one of the registration ones. So registering as an exporter in Namibia, probably not the best choice. I'm thinking, yes, there are. You'll see at the bottom of each of these guides, there are QR codes. If you scan those QR codes, they will take you through to different organizations, and depending on what the knowledge guide is covering, it can actually give you some of the documents that are required as well for registration. So that is a quick overview. We just wanted to use this little bit of extra time. We've done a lot of demonstrations on the tools previously, and I think people have pretty much got up to speed with those, but we wanted to let you know how much more is available through the TFSA Trade and Information Hub, covering the School of Export, all of these recently uploaded knowledge guides, the little videos just helping you to identify, or to work through the 6 C's of exporting, starting with your own company, your internal analysis, and then looking at the environment, the external analysis environment, which covers a range of things of compliance, customers, making contact in the market, and so forth. I strongly encourage people to go to use these resources. They're available free of charge. And if you click on our video, the videos that I showed you just now as well, you'll see that you could, through that, you can also access, I've lost it now, but if you click on one of the videos to start playing them, you'll see that, I'll get back to it now, my apologies. You'll see if you click on one of the videos, It will also, you can show it in YouTube. You can go directly to YouTube, the YouTube channel that TFSA has. And as soon as you stop that, you'll see it shows you some of the other videos that TFSA has done and that are linked on our YouTube channel. So that was just an intent to give everybody a quick taste of the depth of resources that are now available in the TFSA Trade and Information Hub, ranging from, in the beginning, identifying your markets, using the tools to identify price competitiveness, using the tools to identify potential business partners. There's a lot of other information giving you hints and tips. And then, of course, here, these export guides, as well as the little videos there and additional resources that are linked on this page. So Makama, thank you very much. Appreciate that. We've kept to time very well today. I had extended the time a little bit, thinking that with 3 panelists or 4 panelists that we would run over time, but we've kept the time very well indeed. So Makama, back to you, and let's see if there are any questions that anybody wants to raise. Feel free to ask us whatever you want. If we can't answer you in the session today, what we usually do is we pull up the questions and answer questions that have been posed in the Q&A. And if we haven't been able to answer them, we usually do a process of answering all the questions and putting them in the digest and hanging on them on the hub afterwards as well. Thank you, Makama. Back to you.
Thank you, Rob. And there are 2 more questions. And the first one is, are we as business support institutions or trade support institutions allowed or permitted to have the TFSA link on our websites, and for the traders to, the traders to serve on our website for information?
I'll answer that one very, very directly. Sihla, thank you very much. That is 110% exactly what we want to have happen. We've been, for the last year and a half, we've been trying to reach out to business support organizations across the region to make these tools and resources available to your export clients and export members. It's very much the intent, is that you link us on your website, so that anybody coming to your website automatically can link through to us. We can work with you, we can give you graphics, we can work with you to give you a little bit of a write-up to introduce the aim of the, of that link. And especially, Sihle, what we're really wanting to do is to make sure that people like yourselves at business support organizations, in turn, channel information, channel invitations, and encourage your members or clients to get onto the TFSA Trade and Information Hub, to use the tools that are there, and to use the School of Export to gain knowledge. We've every now and again, as we've been promoting and marketing the services and the offering, we get people who come to us and say, oh, I was going to, do a program of training exporters. It would save me a lot of money and time and effort and mean that I could do it much faster. Can we use the TFSA Trade and Information Hub? And can we use the School of Export modules to do our training? And the answer to that is always 110%. Please, please do that and share the knowledge, share the link out amongst businesses and amongst sister business or support organizations. Shikla, thank you for raising that. Much appreciated.
Once again, thank you, Rob. And the last question is, as someone who has done training through Future Females, can I still continue to access the TFSA training platform?
I saw Hapit, thank you very much. Sorry, Corbin, you want to jump in on that quickly?
I'd say absolutely. You absolutely are. And even more than that, we would like to see engagement from people that have completed the courses. give us some information, advise us on what's applicable next, what you need. Really, and it comes back down to what I said in the short little presentation that I did. Ultimately, it is a sense of a community that we're trying to drive in SACU-M. So the more feedback that we get from users that have completed the courses, users that have particular needs, the better that we can get in terms of the entire program. So in short, absolutely, continue accessing it. There will be new modules uploaded monthly, and we invite feedback on it all.
Yeah, just a little add-on. It's very much the intent, having been enrolled through Future Females, as new modules are being developed and loaded into the hub, we've worked with ITRISA and the digital company to build a system into the School of Export, so that once you registered, if you've completed the first modules, as soon as you registered, you completed your profile there, when new modules are loaded up, the system will trigger a message to people who've already done previous modules to say, here is a new module available in the School of Export, and you're encouraged to take it. So having done the first 7 modules with Future Females, we tried to make it clear that those were just the foundation, setting the ground work. And now the other modules that are coming through, these are the modules that give you very much more the detailed knowledge on specific issues that you're going to encounter as you start to look at exporting, whether it is now having to redo your packaging because you have to package it much more substantially for shipment internationally. You now have to understand how to classify your product in the international harmonized system of customs classification. All of these things will be there. And these are the it covers the individual business processes knowledge that you need to have in order to be successful in getting ready for export, in reaching out and getting export orders, and in actual fact, delivering on those orders ultimately as well, and ensuring that you get paid for them, because at the end of the day, it's all completely fruitless if you don't get paid for it and you're not making a profit out of it. So these tools and the training will help you make sure that you do all the right things and you get paid profitably at the end of the day, because there's no point chasing exports and making a loss on them, which can happen with the foreign exchange fluctuations. And for example, the module on currency exchange, that will give you insight into how currency fluctuates, the margins between the buying and selling rates, forward cover, how to lock in an exchange rate. There are always costs to it, but sometimes it's better to lock in a forward exchange rate than take the risk of, you never know what's going to happen. You're dealing with Russia, for example, you were exporting to Russia and the Ukrainian war breaks out, it changes exchange rates and everything like that. It increases risks of transport and so on. So these modules and the tools, these are a resource that will help you navigate the minefield that exporting can be, but to do it more successfully and minimize your risks, that you're not standing on those mines, if I can put it that way. So bottom line, anybody who's in the School of Export already, as new modules come up, you'll receive an email to say there are new modules, and you are welcome. We encourage you to go and do all of the new modules as they evolve. And you should be able to cover them in good time, because we know everybody's time poor, but these are being loaded in a rate of about 2 per month. So it's essentially just taking 1 hour to 2 hours every month to pick up that training. And you can always come back into the School of Export and the Hub to use the modules again to refresh your knowledge and to refer back for guidance. So please, anybody who's done any of the modules, look out for new modules, and anytime go back into it and just do modules that you haven't done yet. Thanks, Makama. Are there any other questions? Let me pull that up. Is there anything else?
No.
Okay.
No questions.
just to go to the questions, to perhaps expand on the answers. There were questions for JABU about, is it possible for Lesotho-based producers to take advantage of the South African platform? And I don't know if everybody's seen the answers there. This is exactly why we wanted to have JABU in the session today, because if you're looking to export in the region, they're already set up in Namibia. You get your product into Namibia, boom. It's not a huge market, and sometimes it's very good for companies to start off in markets that are more the appropriate scale for them. And then, for example, when their operation is up and running effectively in South Africa, absolutely. Whether you're a producer in Lesotho or you're a producer in Botswana or Mozambique or South Africa even, obviously, but any one of the countries, then get hold of JABU, go onto their app and use them to reach markets in South Africa. And the same again when they get to when they open up in Botswana and Eswatini, and maybe that will lead them into Lesotho and Mozambique in due course if they make good profits there. Tali, did you want to say something more?
I was going to say, certainly reach out to me via email, tali@gojabu.com, and we can set up a conversation to understand which products you're selling and where you want to distribute, and we can have a more focused conversation. So feel free to reach out, and we'll certainly make time to meet.
Yes, it may be again important to say that in the charts, Tali has put emails for everyone who wants to reach out to her. Thank you. I think we are done with the questions. We have had the very satisfactory responses, and I believe it's actually time that we close the session. May I say I thank you very much. There are just a few pointers here that answers to the questions, as Rob has already said or mentioned, that there will be posted on their TFSA digest. And the recording of this session will come out before the digest. So if you can, please check your social media platforms or the YouTube channel at Trade Forward Southern Africa for release of the recording. All are encouraged to go to the TFSA hub, that is the tfsouthernafrica.org, and undertake the free to access and use training and explore, practice with, and use all the tools for the planning and execution of their expert drives. You can follow TFSA on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and look out for future invitations. Thank you for attending this seminar. Our next seminar will be on the 4th of August at the same time. So please save the date, and also look out for invitations you will receive for the 3 joint TFSA Johannesburg Chamber webinars that we will do in the coming weeks. To stay informed on TFSA webinars, program activities, and training, please visit the TFSA website. That is www.tfsouthernafrica.org. So please complete the feedback survey that will pop up on your browser as soon as you leave the webinar, please. And with that, I would say I thank everybody who attended, and mostly the presenters, and hope that we will see each other again on the 4th of August. And with that, I would say thank you very much. Please don't forget to fill the survey that pops out. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Makama, for an excellent chairing and moderating for us. And thank you very much also to Rose, Corbin, and Tali. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.